The firelight carved shadows across Charlotte's face as the joke left my mouth. Charlotte, marry me. I'd treat you better than anyone. Laughter erupted, then fractured. She didn't laugh. Her gaze lifted steady, unguarded, and the air between us thickened. I thought you'd never ask. The words landed soft, certain. My pulse hammered against my ribs. The group faded. Only her eyes held me, dark and searching, asking something I'd spent years pretending not to hear. We stepped away from the crackling pit. Embers glowed behind us like distant witnesses. She stood close enough that I felt the faint heat rising from her hoodie. The slow rise and fall of her breath. Neither of us moved back. I've felt this for years, she said quietly. I buried it because losing you as a friend would have broken something I couldn't fix. Silence pressed in. My throat tightened. I wanted to say I hadn't noticed, that I'd kept her safely in the category of known, safe. But the lie stuck. I'd noticed the way she always sat near me, the quiet way she listened when no one else did. I'd just chosen not to name it. Her fingers brushed my sleeve light, deliberate, then fell away. The touch lingered on my skin longer than it should have. That night, we didn't sit beside each other again. Every glance carried weight. When the others drifted inside, I stayed by the dying fire, cold seeping through my jacket, replaying her voice until it hurt. Morning arrived gray and quiet. Charlotte was already in the kitchen, cradling coffee like an anchor. Our eyes met. Morning, she murmured. Hey! The syllable stretched. We moved around each other with careful distance, shoulders almost brushing at the sink, hands pausing mid-reach for the same dish towel. The nearness felt louder than words. Days bled into texts that arrived too quickly, too carefully worded. A photo of her desk at midnight. A complaint about rain. Each one pulled the thread tighter. One evening she called. Walk with me. We met under streetlights. Wind tugged at her hair. She shoved hands deeper into pockets. We walked until the park emptied. At a bench, she stopped, turned. The space between us shrank without either moving. Did I scare you that night? Yes, I admitted, but not the way you think. Her exhale trembled. She didn't step closer. She didn't need to. The air itself felt charged, heavy with everything unsaid. Later, movie night. The couch dipped when she settled beside me, closer than before. Her knee pressed mine and stayed. Under the blanket, her fingers found mine. Tentative, then firm. My thumb traced her knuckle once, twice. Her breath hitched, barely audible. We held on through the flickering screen, neither pulling away, neither daring more. After, outside in the cool dark, she faced me. I won't push. If friendship is all you want, it's not. The truth scraped out. I'm scared I'll ruin it. Her gaze dropped to my mouth, then lifted again. Me too. We stood there, inches apart, breath visible between us. The urge to close the gap burned low and steady. Instead, we said goodnight. The restraint hurt more than any rejection could have. Weeks passed in that suspended state, prolonged glances, hands brushing too long when passing a mug. Silences that thickened until speaking felt dangerous. One night she cried on my couch after a brutal day. I sat beside her, not touching, close enough that our shoulders shared heat. Her tears slowed. She leaned fractionally toward me. I felt the tremor in her frame, the way her breathing wanted to sync with mine. My arm lifted, hesitated, then settled lightly across her back. She turned her face into my shoulder. No kiss, no promise, just the unbearable sweetness of being allowed to stay. The proposal came at dusk, back at the rental house. Cold air, empty fire pit. She stood with hands pocketed, breath clouding. You've been quiet, she said. I stepped closer, close enough to count her eyelashes. Remember what I said that night? She nodded, eyes locked on mine. It wasn't a joke anymore the second you answered. My hand rose, slow, trembling. I drew the ring from my pocket. Her breath caught. I sank to one knee. The ground was hard. None of it mattered. Charlotte, marry me. For real? Tears welled. She didn't blink. Time stretched her gaze, tracing my face, my mouth, back to my eyes. The ache in her expression mirrored mine. The terror of wanting this much, the greater terror of losing it. She exhaled shakily. I thought you'd never ask again. Her fingers found mine. I rose. We stood foreheads almost touching, breath mingling, hands clasped so tightly the knuckles whitened. Neither moved to close the final inch. The restraint was agony and necessary. We chose each other in that suspended moment, without crossing into something easier, something less honest. Later, we married quietly, surrounded by the same friends who'd once laughed at the joke that cracked us open. No grand gestures, just the slow, certain burn of two people who had learned that love isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to stand in it, close enough to feel the heat, and still not run,